entertained you, and we are back still talking about Governor Moino's leadership style, when the senior special assistant to the governor on research and documentation is CMD, so PhD is here. He has spoken at length, and I'm sure you heard him. A lot of people attribute his humility to weakness. People are saying that he's afraid that if he doesn't do this, if he doesn't do that. No, at first they were pointing it to the fact that he didn't have certificate, that they're going to, you know, win him in court. So because of that, he's trying to do something to impress people and all that. That has been rolled out. And now we are talking about the fact that he had a birthday, and you know, people were expecting that they will go to government house, go to government gatherings, you know, go home with gifts, as far as the politicians are concerned and the rest. But that didn't happen. Instead, those individuals were asked to even go impact other people's lives, and people are still seeing it as a weakness. Why would he do that? What will you say? That kind of leadership, the style of leadership, what will you attribute it to? Is it a sign of weakness, or is it a sign of humility? We are still talking about it. Now, talking about the fact that people had to go to these places. I saw it on Facebook. I mean, it was something wow. I saw people like our very own, when we talk about today, somebody that is able to do that. I saw our own Dr. Itoro and all those people going to places. And no, for the mere fact that even in Ikaluku government, I didn't know that we could have those kind of crowd when we talk about disabled people. And so because of this, people were able to discover more disabled people and impacted their lives. I mean, how do we call that kind of leadership?
Well, it was really an emotional moment. I went to one of the orphanages in the States. I saw those children. I saw one of them that was actually still learning how to work, a baby. And I felt emotional because beautiful, fair, light skin. And then it reminds me of my own children. When they were that age. Okay. I was really emotional about it, you know, meeting them, and I felt that beyond the governor's birthday, that I would make it much more regular, you know, going to see these people. Because at some point, I think we bonded with the children there.
Opportunity for you to see those.
And I believe that it's going to be a recurring lesson. We're not going to have to wait for the governor's birthday to go and.
So now he has also made
established that. And when we went there,
people's minds.
We saw at least 3 different groups of people in one particular
already going there
in a queue. Waiting to join them. At some point I thought maybe we should turn and go back to another place. Since I now realize that all across the state it's still the same queue I will go and meet, because people were passionate about emulating the governor, you know, in terms of celebrating with the less privileged. Yes, the governor is humble, there is no doubt about that, and then he has a forgiving spirit. Let me tell you something about United Kwaiwo State, making Kwaiwo State to even be more united than ever. The governor is not missing words when he says that if maybe you were the one, you know how much you suffered. Things are tough in Nigeria. So make no mistake about it.
So tough.
You suffered and got your certificate. You sponsor yourself in school. You make your name in business, and you know that as a businessman, you are expansion of your business depends on your integrity, depends on your pedigree, and you've built this over the years. People have come to see you as a honest person, a humble person, someone they can trust, someone they can do business with. And then because of politics, some people went and manufactured that that falsehood against him, that he didn't go to school, he doesn't have a certificate, that he forged his birth certificate, that he forged his voter's card, and that he forged his school certificates. The court scrutinized all of this, from the first court, the court of first instance, to the federal high court, to the appeal court, to the Supreme Court. And then it was discovered that these were all false. In fact, let me even tell you what happened. You know, at the at one of the appeal courts, at the appellate courts, you know, when the appeal was filed, to even have a defense, you know, some circumstances beyond the control of the Governor's Defense Council or court, the defense team were unable to file their own statement of defense on time. They didn't meet the deadline. They filed it a day later, because the person went to file this defense at the Calabar High Court of Appeal in Calabar, got involved in a mishap on the waters and was later rescued and so on. But before he could get to submit that thing, it was a day late. So there was actually no defense at the appeal court to the appeal by the appellant.
Okay.
But even at that, the appellate court, rather, said look at the whole issue and still discover that there was no iota of truth in that case against the governor's credibility, against the governor's straightforwardness, and the rules against the appellant, and still upheld the fact that the governor had genuine certificates and it was not a man of falsehood. Okay. And then the Supreme Court went and authenticated it again. Then after the elections, another person came out again, so still attack him on the issue of the same certificates, singing songs, making mockery of him all over. My sister, the point I'm trying to drive at is that if it were you, perhaps after being cleared by the Supreme Court,
people should go to jail.
You would have gone to court to say yes for defaming me, for bringing down my credibility, for lowering me in the estimation of threatening members of the public,
even tarnishing my image,
and all of that I worked and worked for in the last 30 years. You must pay for it. That's what an average person would have done. Because I would have further shown that yes, you were ruffled by their skirmishes, but not for Pastor Moino. After being vindicated, I said, I have forgiven everybody. I have forgiven all of them.
And the way he sounded when he said that,
and I could feel the tears, in my heart. Say, what manner of person is this? His supporters were like, Your Excellency, please let us go after them. Let us take them to court. Let's charge them. I mean, leave them to God. I have forgiven them. See, let me tell you something. What Aquarium people need now is genuine reconciliation, and that's what I promised them. And so that is something I feel that people should learn. So he's not pretending about it. He's a humble man, and as humble as he is very passionate about driving his vision of the rights agenda. Okay. Don't forget that he came with a 5-prong acronym: Arise for agriculture, R for rural development, I for infrastructural and expansion enhancement, S for security, and then of course E for education. And as we speak, in the build up to the first anniversary of his ascension into office, the governor has rolled out a number of projects that he will commission. And I can tell you that grassroots development, rural development, tops the list. Okay. For example, in Surubium, we have a primary health care facility that will be inaugurated. In Eziribom, the same thing. In Ibisibosu and local government area, there's also one as well. And then we also have the education facilities upgraded and remodeled in schools like CKS, model school, and so on. And then we have some homes for the rice homes for the less privileged. Some of them are also going to be commissioned in that period. And then we have the roads that will commission as well. For example, the 24-kilometer road from that shelter area, for the ring road, intersection of Oron Road. Okay. From that point down to the airport, 24 kilometers expansion. That road was expanded to 8 lanes. It's also going to be commissioned. And then we have some other roads like the 3.3 kilometer road in Idwa Road. That will also be commissioned, and several others. So it is going to be days of celebration of good governance, and this is happening in only 1 year. And so people would like to say that if kid and them dumb, Iban Ita, and so on. So we come and say and I'm going to acquire and say, I don't come now. Even if you hated him because you are in the political party, different from his own. You see him now and he smiles at you.
I'm not
seeing
this comment on Facebook again. I'm not seeing those people anymore.
You're talking about the wedding he attended. At that wedding, you saw him embracing the immediate past state chairman of the Young Progressive Party, YPP, Apostle Andy.
Yeah, we saw that.
You saw him hugging his opponent in the last elections, architect Ezekiel Jaitu. And this is the same architect that took him to court, challenging his educational antecedents and so on. So this is a governor that does not believe in holding bitterness against anybody.
The style of leadership is different,
and that is why we are smiling across the states. And I think that it has come to a stage where if you are overburdened, possibly if you have a quarrel with your wife, with your spouse, and then or anybody for that matter, and you feel that you need to be lifted, you just open the social media and look at the picture of Pastor Moino, and you smile back at him, and that will just quench all of the
You know what? We always have opportunity to talk about him. If you want to go about talking about him here, I know that you, in particular, maybe I don't think it's because of the office you're giving research and documentation. You've done a lot of work already.
No, it's not about research and documentation. It's about the fact that I genuinely know him. I know him, and I feel these things happening.
And that's what I'm saying. And apart from that, the way you do your work, I mean, it's not just about being an SSA, being SA. It's something different. I'm giving that to you. Just take it.
I will take that to the bank. But I wish you can convert that to Naira and call.
No, we won't do that. We won't do that. At least I want to use this opportunity to even say that, you know, as you talk about the governor going around places, we look forward to seeing the governor come to visit us in AKBC. What do you think? And that day you come with him.
The governor will only come to a place he's not being expected. And so if you're expecting him to come here, that's not when he will come.
No, I said God will bring him. It's God that will bring him. God will bring him one of these days.
The fact is that the governor likes going to places unplanned.
Okay.
I remember what he started doing, and people were saying, why is he doing that? For example, within the first 2 months, he was in a church in Ure from Oruko, and the next week on Sunday he was in a church in Itu, and then he was in a church in, it was just going around in Ukarafu. He went to another church. People would say, why is he going to all the churches across the state?
And he like attending events, he like attending weddings, he like all the stuff, you know. We know we do.
And beyond that, he also likes sympathizing with those who have been involved in unfortunate situations, and that is the governor trying to make himself felt. He's trying to make people touch him, feel him,
so
if you are going to expect him,
don't say that again.
Don't expect him so that he will come.
Okay,
so he will come. He doesn't want people to expect him. He doesn't want a planned visit.
No, that's my opinion.
He wants to come.
I will not be there.
And that's when he will get a query for not being around. But let me tell you something. When he went and visiting those offices, people were not expecting him.
It's okay.
When he went to the power plant to inspect that place, they were not expecting him.
Okay.
And that is exactly the kind of approach to leadership. And that is why contractors in Akwa Ibom State don't joke with their work. I pity most the contractor that is handling the tourism site along Dominic Avenue.
Okay.
Because anytime the governor passes there, he will stop, enter that ravine and check the progress of work. The same thing he was doing when CKS was under construction and so on.
Because so next passing there.
And he has said it clearly that it's not the governor that sits down in the office and gives directive. He goes out to the field and see things for himself.
We look forward to having a very beautiful outing during the May Day celebration in Akwa Ibom State, as far as the governor is concerned, and we look forward to having surprises coming from him, because he is full of surprises. What people are expecting may not be what he has to offer us. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
Alright, that has been it on this particular segment of the program Pathfinder on AKBC TV. But I'll just say, don't go anywhere. The program continues after this time out.